This disaster is of massive scale, and no city in the nation can possibly shoulder this alone.
The call for help growing louder this evening as the days pass. St. Louis finds more damage from last Friday's EF3 tornado.
As we come to you tonight, St. Louis leaders say this whole response is shifting fully now into recovery mode.
And the city has also fixed a big problem that's triggered safety concerns. Mayor Kara Spencer tells First Alert 4 today the broken button at fire headquarters that did not set off the tornado sirens has been fixed. The city also added a team of communication experts to let people know what resources are available to help stop the spread of misinformation. And just minutes ago, you watched this right on First Alert 4 at 4. Governor Kehoe told us he will not commit to using the National Guard to help in the community at this point.
First Alert 4's crews continues to be fanned out across the disaster zone. We're going to start our Team 4 coverage here at 5 with our John Kipper, who just heard from Governor Mike Kehoe and Mayor Kara Spencer.
Yeah, Sam, as you mentioned, just got done talking to them in kind of an informal press conference about 5 minutes ago. And Governor Kehoe is from North St. Louis, and he talked about how devastating it is to return to the old neighborhoods where he grew up and to see disasters like this. In fact, he specifically mentioned the Harlem Tap Room. It's the building on the corner, the one that's not completely destroyed, but mentioning how devastating it was just seeing a landmark like that get so beat up by the storm. And we did ask him several questions. We'll start with federal assistance because obviously we have yet to see FEMA at a large scale here. We have yet to see President Trump do much in that regard. Governor Kehoe was pleading patience. He was telling residents, please, the government is working. The federal government can work slow, but he does believe help is on the way, and even mentioned local organizations often can do more sometimes than what the government can. And as you mentioned, Corey, with regards to the National Guard, I had a chance to ask him, is there a mission yet available for the National Guard? And he was definitely non-committal on that front.
The Guard has a specific mission in defense for our citizens and for our country, so we don't want to take them out of that mission, but there are definitely organizations who can help with debris removal outside of the Guard, so trying to make sure we pool those resources.
Now, in regards to the City Office of Emergency Management, just a few weeks ago, Commissioner Sarah Russell, who is now on leave, was warning the Board of Aldermen that they don't have enough money in their budget to really do their full mission, and she was pleading for extra money. I had a chance to ask Mayor Kara Spencer about that just a few minutes ago. If the city should fund the Emergency Management Office more, we'll have that answer coming up tonight at 6. But for now, John Kipper, First Alert 4.
All right, John, thank you. And our Team 4 coverage continues with our David Amilati live in North City. And David, residents you've talked to, they're getting anxious for any kind of relief to come.
Corey, everyone that's been out here talking with residents is hearing the same question. Where is FEMA? Why haven't they been here already? We just heard it mentioned there with John that FEMA does have a small presence here already doing some evaluations. It's important to note FEMA says that it's not a response agency, it is a recovery agency. But again, Mayor Spencer just hours ago saying St. Louis is in full recovery mode. Got the chance a couple hours ago, First Alert 4, speaking with a member of the FEMA team that is boots on the ground in St. Louis. They tell us there's no timeline on when assistance will be given. It really all depends on all this documentation from their assessments being sent in and how quickly that gets pushed up the chain of command to get that money from the feds. FEMA tells us there's not really anything that can be done to expedite this process. They say that they're following standard procedures, and none of these procedures have changed with the new administration.
I understand the frustration, right? That it seems like it's a process, and it is. So this is the first step, the first part of the process to get federal assistance after a disaster. Collecting those damage assessments, again, goes to the governor, and then they can make that informed decision. We have teams that are ready to go here in St. Louis, anywhere in the country. So when those declarations are made, we have folks that go out immediately.
You know, FEMA says that the best thing for you to do right now, especially if you live in the path of destruction, if you still need help and you haven't, call 211. Also, document your damage, photos and video. It's important for you, but it's also important for the city of St. Louis to use that information to get the federal relief the city says it needs so desperately. Right now, we know the federal government wants to cut funding for FEMA. We also know about a dozen declarations have reached the president. They're still pending. We asked the mayor if she's concerned that same fate could be in store for St. Louis.
I have concerns? Yes. Do I have confidence that we are doing everything we can? Absolutely. Do I have confidence that our governor and our local electeds, our senators and our congressmen are doing everything possible? Yes, I do. And we are marching forward because that is the only thing we can do. And we're marching forward with as much strength as we have. And I have confidence in that.
There's still a lot of questions about how many people have really been displaced from this disaster and how many buildings have been damaged or totally destroyed. Tonight at 6, we work to get those answers. Live in North St. Louis, David Amilati, First Alert 4.
All right, David, thank you. One of the many things